start the recording.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So because Emmanuel was not able to join us, I will be running the meeting tonight. Let's call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Let's call the roll, Lori.
Okay. Eden,
Here.
Hilda,
Here.
Jennifer,
You're muted.
I'm muted.
No, Jennifer is.
Okay. Is she there though? I can't see.
She is.
Okay.
I'm
So I
here.
have,
Of course I'm muted. You can't have a meeting without somebody going, no, you're muted.
just so you guys know, I have to do the meeting on my 5G and stuff because Vanessa's doing school and she has an exam, and my Wi-Fi isn't great for Zoom for two of us at once.
No problem. You're here.
Yeah.
And
John,
I am
you're
as
here,
well. Yep.
and well, Tina's here. Is that everybody? Just so I can't see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So public comment is next on the agenda. If there are any members of the public, which I don't think there are, we'll wait 10 seconds. See if there is anyone. Doesn't seem like it. Next agenda item is approval of minutes. And because it was a work session with staff, I don't think we have to approve these minutes. Is that correct, Tina? Okay, so we don't need to take a vote on those minutes. I know that it was attached to either Lori or Tina sent them. So if you wanted to check those out, they're all there.
I would actually interject. They might actually need to be approved because we approved the minutes from the previous meeting in those minutes of last month.
Okay, we can do it either way, I think. So
I think if you're comfortable with it, you might as well. You have quorum, so yeah.
Yep. If there's anyone that wants to make a motion, I'll entertain it.
Or you can push it off to next meeting too. It's
Yeah, if people
completely up to
haven't
you.
read them or don't feel comfortable, that's fine too. Why don't we do that? Why don't we push it to the next meeting? So Lori, just make note that we will approve January and February, this meeting minutes next month. Okay. That brings us to the ED report by Tina.
Yes,
What do you
so
got for us,
sorry.
Tina?
So sorry I sent it out so late yesterday. I have been sick. So I've been challenged with some damage to my vocal cords as well. So it is not easy for me to talk. But the biggest updates are that the playback system is in. Where it's not completely 100% up and running yet. We're still testing it to make sure. That'll be good to go. And the other big thing out of my report was that we did get um, four of the youth workshops set up and online for this summer. And we've already sold one of the alumni families from last year immediately signed up. So that's really great. We're doing a constant contact newsletter today to everyone that signs up for a newsletter. And then tomorrow we'll start doing social media posts. And we've built out a whole marketing plan the object is to fill the classes this year. So, yeah,
And remind us again how large are the classes that you're
there are
trying to
9
get?
participants each class.
Okay,
So, yeah,
excellent.
and we did a couple things different this year. We're offering an early bird discount. So the first 4 signups for each workshop will receive, I think it's $25 off. And then we're offering a discount to siblings. So if you sign up 2 kids from the same family, they'll get a discount, like a $25 discount. So
That's great. It's early too, so it's good that we can get the word out. And I think every board member should take that into consideration when you're talking to people. Make sure that we get the word out so we fill these up. Be nice to have them full this year.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it the same? Because last summer, I believe it was like a younger age group 1 week, and then an older age group the next week, and then it switched back to the younger and then the older. Is that the like
So
roughly the same setup?
it is literally exactly the same work session.
Okay,
But what's really great about it is that when you add different participants, you're going to get different collaborations and different creativity. But yes, it is 10 to 13-year-olds in one group, 14 to 17-year-olds. And then the ask from staff was to try to stretch them, space them out a little bit more because it was really difficult to do them really back to back for 4 straight weeks. So now it's 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on. Yeah.
so
And
then it would actually be more of the summer then if you're taking, which actually is better because I always find that it's harder to find camps on the beginning and front end versus everybody has everything in the middle, which is great,
yeah.
but
So the first one is starting July 6th because we realize with the snow days, school doesn't get out until like mid-June, late June. And then you got the 4th of July holiday. So we just decided July 6th would be the start date. And then I think they go right up to when school starts again. So,
that's
yeah.
great. Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome. And what else can we do to help? Are there pamphlets? Are there anything
Not at
places
the
we can direct
moment.
people?
Again, it really, it was a, I'll be honest, I spent most of my week this week getting them online. Well, some of my week last week and this week getting everything online, getting all the paperwork pulled together. Like there's a lot of admin stuff that needs to happen. So I haven't focused on putting together a flyer or anything like that. If you see the post on social media, please share it, let people know. And then once we can, we're gonna get a new poster board made up. We'll have that and we'll have some flyers. But I have a whole marketing plan. So this week is the soft launch. We started with an email to all the families that participated last year and gave them exclusive or early access to it, which is how we already got signups. The email that went out today it was important for us to do it this week because it's like school break, right? So parents are starting to think, what am I going to do with my kids this summer? So that's why the email went out. And then tomorrow, that's why the social media posts are going to start. And then we're going to start posting in the social media groups like the Malden for Young Families or whatever. Or, we're attached to a bunch of those, so we'll start posting in there. So it's really just, I think social media is our biggest tool right now. And just really trying to encourage those early signups to get the workshops filled out. So Johnny, that looks really good. I'm gonna call you out for eating dinner. Sorry.
Can you talk about, it looks like the internship program is kind of getting pushed.
Yeah. Again, I've been sick, so like I've been trying to prioritize things with the playback system and with the youth workshops. So we did have all four of us sat down, had a work session, started diving into the whole playbook for the intern program, and realized that there's a lot of that admin moving part stuff that needs to be set up before we can start pulling these, interns in. And we got kind of bogged down in who was going to do what. So I decided to take a step back from it, and we're going to meet again and all come to the table with the understanding that we need to parse out some of this responsibility. And we just haven't had the opportunity to schedule that meeting yet. So
We
it's
need
going a little
interns.
slower than I would have liked to. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I really wanted everything posted by now and for us to be interviewing interns by now. But life happens. So it is where it is. So
So you anticipate
Question,
that
question.
picking up? Sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
No, sorry. Um, you said something about having a problem. I mean, just like some administrative stuff. Do you need volunteers to do some administrative stuff?
It's so when I say something like that, I mean, okay, so we're gonna get these interns in. They all have to be trained, which, James and Lee are gonna do train them on like the studio and stuff. But then we have to get all their information into our Roost Share system, which is our membership management system. We have to make sure we have all their paperwork, like it's all that kind of stuff. And it's really about how are we gonna organize that? What are we doing with that? And then that. So I don't know how much the board can help with that stuff because it's like internal, like everyday stuff that we got to do, right? So I would love to help, but at this point, I'm trying to wrap my brain around how we're actually going to organize it even. So,
It does seem like your foundational systems are progressing well. Like the
yep.
internship pipeline it looks like it's the only thing that's behind the projection right now for the most part. I mean, it's still moving at a good pace from what I was able to run through. So I'd still give yourself a pat on the back because
Yeah.
I know it's not easy.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that because when I did the report, I was like, oh, listen, we're at like mid-month two in the year, so I think we're doing pretty good with stuff.
Hmm.
It's just, things. That's the thing, you learn, you evaluate, and you replan for things. That's what I love about this strategic plan is that it allows you the opportunity to kind of flow a little bit and flex. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, just really quick from what I was able to see, the playback system is almost live. Control system upgrades, that's deferred. Intercepts just delayed. The CRM's in migration, and your governance is in progress. So, all things considered, it's moving at a reasonable pace from what I can see.
The only other thing that I was curious about is the control room upgrades placed on hold because you wanted to align them with the 5-year capital improvement plan, um, which makes sense, I guess, because you're getting new gear. You want to, arrange it properly for that room, right?
Well, it's for a multitude of reasons. So, even with the help of the city, we drained our capital funds pretty significantly with the playback system. It's going to always be the largest expenditure for capital outside of like a facility for a community media center. So we knew that. So now we need to build that up or strategically plan for what we're going to do because as the technical audit showed us, there's a multitude of items within our capital areas that need to be replaced and stuff like that. So, in talking with Seth, our engineer, I realized that yes, our control room and our studio cameras should technically be next, but they're going to be the second largest expenditure we're going to have. And if we decide to go that route, it's gonna eat up all of our capital funds, and we'll probably have to fundraise a little bit. And also, there's going to be downtime where our producers aren't going to be able to produce their shows. So, in talking with Seth, we realized we could do a lower hanging fruit of adding video components to our podcast suite and getting that project done so that when the studio does go down, they'll be able to still produce their show within the podcast bay, right? So that's what I'm in the process of working with him now is identifying the things that need to get replaced and fixed, and then where would they fit best in the flow of our capital funds and the flow of our organization, our daily operations. So
Okay.
that's why it was deferred.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
I'm not sure this is the appropriate time to ask, and if not, just let me know. But I saw like just grants in general and Felicia's working on a few things. I know it just came out, but is there any look at the Community Connections grant by the city? Um, it's like the mayor's putting out. Some people use it for parties. Like I didn't know if, like now knowing that the youth are doing programming in the summer, in the fall when we had our annual meeting, I mean, I could see asking for money to, have not necessarily end of year meeting, but like when you put together the videos and so forth for the youth to view and, bring the community together in that aspect. It's not a lot of money, obviously, but I don't know. It was just
No, I
kind of,
think we always look at it. I think last year we applied for the Malden Events website, as a community
that's right.
connector. And that really helped because that cost us like $1,200 a year to run, so I think we put that cost towards that. And I just saw the email myself like yesterday or today. So I meet with Felicia on Monday and we'll probably talk about that. She just completed the ABBF proposal or submission. So she's been 100% working on the CRM because it's going to be a vital piece of our foundation moving forward. So, but yes, I plan to talk to her about that one.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's great. And also to just reiterate Hilda's mention, like you've been sick. It's a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you. I was sick. I know what it's like. It's hard. And I just want to say thank you so much. So,
Thank you.
Definitely. Any other questions about the ED report? Um, if not, I mean, we can talk about the financials in there that can kind of go right into the financial report. I don't know if we're
I
ready
wanted
to
to
talk about that.
ask Eden, have you had any issues getting in? You have access to our bank account or just QuickBooks?
if I have access to the bank account, I'm not sure. I definitely can get into QuickBooks, and that's what I've been using thus far. If I should go further in, then I know I missed the working session, and this might have been good things to go over last month, but yeah, I'm not sure I'm in there. So,
I only mention it because Brookline Bank merged with Beacon Bank, and so
okay,
like our whole online access thing had to be re-established and set up. So I wanted to make sure. I couldn't remember if we gave the treasurer access to the bank account, but in that essence, I could talk to Emmanuel about this. We'll probably have to go and update the bank documents because Brian was listed as a signer on our account.
okay,
So FYI.
okay. We can talk more offline and so forth
Sure.
about getting that set up. So,
Yeah.
sounds good. Thank you.
Just that governance piece, Yeah.
Absolutely. So did you expect me to take it from here, Jonathan, between like I have the ED report and the annual fund and I have what I sent. I know I sent it even after Tina sent her information, but I provided like the statement of cash period, at the end of period from yesterday, which was, 32,872 spot 32. I'm not because I haven't been doing this a while, like I'm not sure when, and Tina would probably know more, unfortunately or fortunately. Um, like when does the money come in from Verizon and Comcast and like 32,000 while a lot isn't, and you know, kind of going from there. But in terms of the ed report, I guess I should work at tying that in. Um, yeah. I mean, obviously there's a budgeted and what we're actually at, and they're related, like in the sense that, sponsorships are at zero and fundraising, and we need to tie all those things in. So,
Yeah, so actually, the check should be at City Hall today or this week, because the cable companies have 45 days from end of quarter to get them to the city. So they should have arrived this week. So we'll probably be seeing that money sometime next week. I've already advised uh, Chuck from the city to not mail them out. I'll just walk down and get them so they can get in our bank account. But yeah, we're a little thin, but I want to say that we're actually slightly fatter than we have been at the end of quarters. So this, even though we haven't been able to put anything into the contingency fund as of yet, my hope is, crossing my fingers, this next round of funding we'll be able to put some money in that contingency fund and start building that up a little bit. So
and for anybody listening, the contingency fund is the budget's 25,000. We're at zero now, so that's what we're speaking to. anybody's listening. Thank you.
Hey, Tina, the one thing I noticed that is a positive, and I'm curious to see what you think the reasoning is the general donations and in-kind donations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah, I mean it is. It's way bigger than I would budget for, and it's way bigger than I'll budget for in the near future. That number is so large because we had two different nonprofit organizations, local nonprofits that dissolved and donated their remaining funds to UMA. So we had two $5,000 donations to our organization from outgoing nonprofits. So that's why that number is so high. Not to say that we shouldn't strive for that large of a number, but that is why it's significantly different this year.
Got it. Excellent.
Sorry,
Any other
getting text
questions or
message.
concerns?
I mean, the workshops are strong, the membership's solid. Definitely fundraising would be something, to jump on for sure. Um, the 26% for reaching the $580,000 goal, that was a big thing that stood out for me. Um, the cable provider operating a grant that we're just at 22%. Another flag there, but I mean,
And
I'm
to
really
clarify that because
excited.
we haven't
I,
gotten those checks yet. So, right.
but I do think that quarter one was about building the engine, and now it's like acceleration,
Mhm.
right? For quarter two, like getting like the ball rolling on a lot of these things. And we're close.
Yeah.
We're close for the most part, but I guess that's what stood out to me reading through that. The neighborhood view, though, when we get to that, that was very impressive.
All right. Well, I guess that would actually fall under my, unless you're going to talk about it in subcommittee updates, John.
No, go ahead.
Well, I guess it would be part of my ED report. So I suppose, if you wanted to talk about neighborhood view, you would have to step back into that agenda item. So,
In that agenda item of new
well, if
business.
unless there were any
Or
other finance report question.
right, right, gotcha. Yes, so financial report. Is there any questions on um, Eden's statement of cash flows?
Mm-mm.
Do you anticipate doing this more uh, every month now, or how's this
Yes,
going to
I mean,
work?
I think I should provide a statement of cash flows and then, obviously I need to spend more time going through it and also meeting with Tina and like kind of merging the information that she's providing and kind of syncing it in terms of delivery. But yeah, so obviously I need to do more. But yes, I think it's reasonable to have a statement of cash flows every meeting. I think that's what was provided previously as well. I remember getting one of these documents towards like with Brian as well. So it just shows you where we're at. So
Okay,
thank you.
good. Okay, back to the ED report and neighborhood view. Let's talk about neighborhood view. What do you know, Tina? I
I
haven't
just
talked with
honestly, I
Hilda.
sent you the update that Ann sent. I think I just want to provide Hilda an opportunity or anyone else an opportunity to comment on that report, I guess.
Well, the traffic was up significantly. Having 11 people in the journalism training is big. Community recognition, that stands out a lot. The technical upgrades, security improvements, and Google Translate for 250 languages, very, very impressive. Um, I think that's one of the strongest outward-facing success stories for what I've seen right now for Neighborhood View. It's definitely improving and upgrading. I think it's just going to get even stronger with the CRM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only negative from that is just the revenue shortfall. Just that's the only thing really that's probably just the cash shrinking, but overall I think it's still you guys are going at a good pace.
Thank you. That's all Ann and the volunteers that are helping run that. Kim is on the behind the scenes of the website, and she's been doing some incredible work keeping it, getting it cleaned up. Notice that, I think the numbers might be off because of some activity that was happening, but she's on top of it. She's been doing amazing work. So, yeah,
No, it's a really strong long-term move. Like
yeah,
it's definitely needed for the era that we're moving into.
yeah. So we're going to continue to have to be aggressive about finding funding for that program because right now there's $0 for it, right? And there needs to be way more than $0 available. So, um, we have been looking at, and maybe this is something that the subcommittee can help out with. Felicia and I have been poking around at looking at a couple different citizen journalism grants, AIs and things that maybe we could ask the subcommittee to help us out with or something like that to kind of research and see if there's a fit for Neighborhood View.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Um, I guess because Neighborhood View is associated with a nonprofit, does that mean they can't sell any kind of ad space?
Well, we don't call it ad space, we call it underwriting.
Sure.
So you can underwrite space, yes. Mhm.
Okay. Do they have anyone working on underwriting? Like,
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if it's really been a priority, but definitely something worth mentioning. I'm actually meeting with him next week, so I can bring that up.
And we have talked about it in the subcommittee, trying to figure out a way to get to it, for it to generate some funding that way. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure where Ann is at with that, but that is part of the strategy there.
But when you're talking about, you need, I mean, realistically, you would need about a $45,000 annual budget for this program. And at a zero line item budget right now, that's a big lift, unless we can get aggressive with these grant writing programs. So, I mean, underwriting will help a little, but it's not going to bring in 45K a year, you know.
what about Mark Wahlberg? I'm just kidding.
You call him up and see if he wants to pop
You
in.
think Wahlburgers would?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I don't know why, but I am getting a warning that this meeting is going to end in 10 minutes.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I see that.
I don't know why it's doing that. So just FYI.
Okay. Um, okay. So that's kind of the ED report. Any other issues on that before we move on to subcommittee reports? So next item, subcommittee report. I was working with Emmanuel on kind of placing people just randomly. I don't know if anybody took a look at that. Unfortunately, Adam is not with us anymore. He's not a member of the board. So we'll have to do some shuffling around there. We didn't update it just because we wanted to talk with everybody here. And if there's a position there that you don't want to be a part of, or if there's someplace you want to be, please let us know so that we can arrange this and get this going, so that we have our subcommittees in place. I don't know if you want to think about it, and see where you would fit best. I think you're just going to have to look at it and see what you think and let us know so that we can place these everybody. I think we have a lot of subcommittees and too few board members. And with that being said, I think there should be a recurring talk about, let's see where we're at with, recruiting board members. Board members we need badly. Um, Obviously, we lose some. We've lost a couple recently. So anybody that you can think of that might be interested, that might want to sit in before they commit, I think that's awesome. If we can just try and get that going, so that I think our goal in our workshop was to get 2 new board members this year. So I think that's doable. We just have to find them.
Do they
So.
have to be Malden residents as well?
I don't believe so.
No, that's a really great
No.
question. No, I don't think so.
I think
Okay.
we're looking for expertise, right? I mean,
Yeah.
somebody that might know Malden is great, but we're looking for expertise. We just need people that are, more finance related, more, fundraising related, whatever that might be. But yeah,
Okay. I'll
I think
definitely.
I think there was some kind of, we've said in the past that they have to be somehow connected to Malden, even if they don't live in Malden.
Right, but we have beyond Malden memberships. So like we have people coming from all over to be a part of UMA. So, and part of the requirement to be a board member is to be an UMA member. So, and I think you could look at it that way too. And I think to John's point, I think it's really about time, talent, treasure right now, right? That's what we need.
yeah.
Okay.
So something to think about, subcommittees, and then just let's try and get some new people in here so that we can spread the people out within the subcommittee. So yeah, look at that. Let us know. So we won't change anything that's there right now. Obviously, Adam is not involved, so there's openings where his name is as well. Or just let us know where you want to go, where you want to be. Um, Next order of business here is old business. Um, so do we want to talk about the strategic plan updates?
I provided a quarter one's update in my report. That's really the only movement on the strategic plan unless this board has come together and done some work that I'm not aware of. Um, I will share that Emmanuel and I chatted yesterday, and I am working on pulling together sort of an orientation booklet for board members. So when you're talking about recruiting board members, I'm trying to get something pulled together for you that really encompasses all that UMA is and allows a person to really get a good idea what it means to be a board member here. So I was actually almost finished with a draft before our meeting and I didn't get it done. So I'm hoping to have it finished tomorrow. I'll send it to Emon to present to this board. And it's really a breakdown of, who is UMA, what's our mission, what's our vision, what do we do for our community, and then kind of understanding what board members' roles are and the commitment that it takes. So I'm working on that because I figured I can throw it all together really quick and have that information so that you all don't have to be throwing stuff at a wall and hoping it sticks sort of situation. Uh, so for governance, that's what I have.
Great. Yeah, I think that makes sense to have some sort of booklet for people to have so that they can understand it and it's right in front of them. And
Yeah, and I'm also creating kind of like a one pager too. It's just so, if
mhm.
you're out talking to friends, you're like, oh, I can send you this PDF that really kind of breaks it down for you, you know.
Yeah, it's great. Um, okay, the other thing we want to talk about in old business is continuing the discussion of our work session in January. We would like to figure out a time when everybody can get back on virtually to do part 2 of the work session. We, uh, Eden, I think you were the only one that wasn't there, and it was a great exercise for us all. I don't know if you got a chance to read the minutes from it or see any of that, but it was very helpful. And I think part two, maybe Tina, you can talk about where you would like to see it go.
Yeah, so we talked about the first workshop session was really about just getting everybody on the same page and moving in the same direction, which I was so thrilled with the outcome. I hope you got an opportunity to watch it, Eden. I'm sorry you didn't get to be a part of the conversation, but um, we thought of you while we were doing it. Um, I think the next step is to really kind of, divvy up some of the work, right? And talk about, okay, so if Uma's going to be concentrating, Uma's staff's going to be concentrating on outlining an intern program, what is the board doing to work on governance, right? What's the foundational stuff that you're doing? What is the board working on for fundraising plans or subcommittee development or recruitment? And really kind of talking about how that blends into the everyday operations of what UMA is trying to accomplish. So I think it's, we're talking timelines, support needs, and accountability, communication, and progress tracking. It's all broken down into that next step strategic plan work session number 2. And it's really just finding a 2-hour time slot where we can come together and kind of hash all this stuff out outside of our regular meeting.
Yeah, so I guess our next step, and maybe we'll be in contact in between this meeting in March as to when we could do that. I know Tina said that staff is available mostly on Thursdays as well, so we'll have to figure out a time when we can do that next. But I mean, it'd be great if we could do it within the next month, but we'll see. Just to keep that momentum going, right, Tina?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to kill the fire when you just work so hard to build it up, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, my chair keeps sinking. I keep getting shorter and shorter.
I mean, I was just
Um,
looking at Thursdays and I don't think I have anything in the next month. So if that's the desire, I don't know if it's after or like during the day, but assuming it's after.
I think it would be,
So,
like we do something similar, like a 6 o'clock start, especially if we're going to
okay.
be virtual. Um, our next board meeting is the same date next month. It's March 19th. So you have like March 5th or 12th or the 26th if you wanted to do it in March. I would not recommend doing it next week.
no.
I'm
Um,
clear if you guys wanted to do it the week before the meeting.
If you want to check with Iman, I get that, but I just wanted to
You got pretty much
say
everybody
I'm
here.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're so close to figuring out a date too.
Yeah, I'm not technologically savvy, but I just hit the join link again and it worked.
I had to Google. I was Googling it, trying to figure out how could extend it, and it was like, oh, you just hit the extend button when it comes up, but it never came up. So I was like, what?
I know I looked at it in like 2 minutes and I was like, I gotta remember to say something.
Well, now we have another 40 minutes, so I'm going to
There you
rush
go.
through. Hopefully, we can get Hilda in here,
We'll need that for the 2-hour meeting, right? If it's virtual,
right?
or is that Teams? I guess you could go either way, but
Yeah, I'll have to go into Zoom and figure out why it's doing that because I pay like $16 a month for our Zoom account, so I should be able to.
Mm.
I wonder if I have Hilda's number. Hold on. I feel like I
No,
did.
I have it in an email somewhere. I just don't know where quickly.
Hold on. I think I got it. I just gotta search. Nope. How do I not have Hilda's number?
I have her address.
Yeah, her email address. I was just gonna email her and just say use the same link.
Yeah, maybe start with that, but I swear I had her. Oh, here it is. I got it. I'm just gonna call her.
There she is.
All right, I think we're recording.
There we go.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Back online.
All good. It's all good. We're back. So let the record state that this is part 2 of our Zoom meeting for February. And we were in old business discussing about the work session in January. I don't know if there's any other discussion that anybody wants to talk about for that. We kind of just said we wanted to keep the momentum going. We'll pick a date. I don't know if people want to pick a date now, and then we can approach Emmanuel and see if that's if that date works for him. How do we feel about that? I say we go for it, and then we can always change it.
Yeah, I think it's easier to start with something than nothing, and then yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at March. Our next meeting is on the 19th. Do we want to try the 12th or the 28th or 26th? Sorry.
Well, it would make the most sense because I would say to just get it out of the way before we meet, like our normal meeting.
Yeah, I would
It's
try for the 12th and then go from there, right? If Emmanuel can't do that, then obviously if we need to go later, then go later, but why not start with like the earliest date possible? I don't know.
Well, you could
And
look at
then
the
this,
fifth too as a backup date.
right.
Yeah. So let's mark that as March 12th, 6 o'clock, a virtual meeting. We'll set that up and send everybody the link, and we'll do our part 2 of the work session.
But Jonathan, didn't Tina just say the 5th? Do we want to start with the
Oh,
5th of
No, no,
March?
I
I'm
was saying
sorry.
that I was saying the 12th, and if
Okay.
12th can't
Okay.
work,
Okay,
then
got
the
it.
5th, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so 12th good, everybody? 6 o'clock? Right
Excuse
on.
me. Do you want to do 6 or 6:30?
6 is fine with me. Again,
I
earlier in
would
there
say
if we
six.
need to change it.
Yeah. Can always readjust, but I would say 6. The dog agrees.
All right, 6 o'clock on the March 12th, Thursday. And that will include staff as well.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Next order of business is new business. We wanted to call out this Institute of Trustees conference that Felicia and Tina had passed on. It looks like a very interesting conference. Tina, maybe you can talk to it, but if there are board members that are interested, that would be awesome to get people involved.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to share my screen so that everybody can see this. Um, Everybody see the about AIFT
Yep.
screen? Okay. So this is from the Institute for Trustees. They offer a multi-week conference or like a multi-day conference on quite a few things. It starts, you can start as early as the end of March on this. Um, but it goes through multiple weeks and they're all virtual workshops. And so there's some really interesting workshops within this that I think our board members could really benefit from and the organization as a whole could benefit from. So the link was sent to you in the email that Emmanuel um, sent out or Lori sent out. And you'll notice we can actually do like, we could actually register everybody on our board for these workshops if we want to, or we can do individual registrations. Um, I'm fine with doing it for everybody on the board, but that would mean I'd really want you all to attending the workshops, right? And the early bird I just wanted to call out is the 24th. So we have to basically we have to register, for these early board prices, we have to register by the 24th and it's the 19th. So if you're interested, I would need to know so I could get you registered. Um, yeah, I mean, like this one looked really interesting. Boards in motion, navigating change, complexity, and opportunity, engaging your board, digital storytelling, like, so what I would recommend, I'm just going to stop my share now. Um, what I would recommend is if you are interested, again, these are all virtual, so it's not like you have to go to a conference center and dress in professional garb and blah, 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 unless you really want to and sign up that way. But, um, I just need to know who wants to go and who doesn't, if anybody wants to.
What day is it? Or you said it was several
There's
days?
multiple weeks. Yeah, so and it's looking like now that I look at them, like quite a few of them are over the lunch hour from noon to 1:30 p.m., like the beginning ones. And then like a couple, there is an in-person gathering on April 29th. Like this goes all the way through June
And where is it located?
online.
Oh,
Did
Yeah.
you miss the not dressing up carb comment? I don't know.
oh, okay, I get it now.
Sorry.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah, it does look like, I mean, most of them fall in the lunch hour capacity, like noon to 1:30. Almost all of them do. And then there's a couple like increase your revenue by capitalizing your strategic plan. I found really interesting. That's a 9 a.m. work session. But they're all about an hour and a half, and it looks like they go multiple weeks. So
I'd definitely be interested as long as it doesn't conflict with my job.
mm,
And you're looking to get us into the early bird, so by the 24th is what you're
yeah.
hoping people can decide by?
And I wanted to provide this opportunity to everybody because as you look through the list, again, if I sign up the whole board and you all can go, oh, this one looks really interesting into what I want to bring to the board. I want to go to this one, right? But if we end up only signing up one or two people, then we can also ask those one or two people, hey, can you attend this one? Because I think it's important for the board. So I think you need to take a little time to look it through and decide, what's going to be a benefit to the board as a whole. Because I don't want to go spend $500 and then we don't go to anything, right?
Yeah,
Or I end up going to everything and I don't have time for that.
right.
Well, I definitely have time to go to all of them. I don't know if I'd be able to meet the deadline for the application fee, but I have time to take notes on everything and provide feedback to everyone else if we're stretched for time.
To be clear, UMA, the organization, will pay for the attendance to these workshops. I just need to know if you want to go so that I can get the early bird price. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he'll
Definitely
be
jump in and help out with that too. I'd love to take an online course or
Jenny's a yes.
I would need to look through the list. I know I saw a lot of them were, at least some of them were before tax season or up until tax season. So
Yeah.
even my lunch is shot. Like I need to walk away from my desk. So anything like April 15th. So I might not be a good fit because anything that is happening in that early part of, I think some
Sure.
of them start March and April. Like I'm just
We do
not
have quite a few in May.
right. So I'll take a look, but it might be. I just know I can't. Those earlier ones, I'm
So like
not
there's one
available.
in May that I thought maybe you could be helpful as a CPA, CFO, and a CFE walk into a bar, audit proofing your organization. Okay. So, but that's why I'm saying like at this point we've already got two board members that are interested. And if Jonathan or Lori and even Iman was like, this is really cool, like it might be worth us just registering everybody and that way everybody can pop into whatever they want.
Mhm.
I should be able to do some.
I think I would be able to do some. I just don't know exactly how many.
Okay. Well, and I don't want you to, how do I say this? I don't want this to be a chore for you. Like this is supposed to be something that like
Yeah.
find interesting and think you can bring, you know, benefit back to the organization too. So if you don't want to do it, you just got to let me know. But what I'm gleaning is that, at some point everybody's kind of interested, so it might be best if we just sign up the whole board.
At what point does it make sense? Like three people? Like how many people
I
do
think
you
three
kick?
people, yeah.
Is that the price point where it makes like anything, I
Well,
do
right
this with
now
my
it's a
family.
hundred,
Like,
it's 110 per person. So, I mean, if two people are really only wanting to do this, then it's cheaper to just to do two people. But
but the minute you hit three, then it makes sense. Is that where the price point is, or no, not
not
even?
really. They don't really give you because it's $500 right now for the whole board, and it's 110 per person.
Right. So you would really need 4 to 5 people, right?
Yeah,
For it to, okay.
which yeah, you know, which we're a 4 to 5 person
Yeah, so,
board.
right.
Yeah,
I'm just nervous about committing because even after tax season,
sure.
then I'm out of a job and it might be a great way to network. So maybe I shouldn't be so quick to say no, but at the same time, I'll be on job search as well. But um, I don't know that I'll have stuff during lunch hour or any hour. So I might be more flexible to attend. I'm kind of unknown, but
Well, it sounds like we have at least two and possibly three people interested in taking in being engaging in more than one subject. So
Okay.
I think it's worth it.
And so maybe what we do, because they don't start until after our next board meeting, they start March 24th. So maybe it might be a good idea to sit with the session list at that work session we're going to do and say, okay, who's going to go do this? Where's the benefit? And we'll go from there. But right now, what I'm hearing is I'll sign Jenny and Hilda up at least, and we'll go from there.
Do you need to know if you're going to do the full board? Is there a break on the cost as well? If you do
As
early
I
for the whole
mentioned,
board?
a full board is $500 flat by the
Flat per,
24th.
okay,
Per person is $110 before the 24th, and after it's 130. So, I mean, again, we're currently sitting at a 6-seat board. Even if every board member went, it wouldn't be that much of a savings. So,
okay.
you know,
Okay. So ideally, we would give you definite yes by the 24th.
mhm.
wouldn't you need it before that, right? I mean, if you need
Or
to
I
sign
mean,
up by the
ideally,
20th.
yeah. So, like, what is it, the
Like,
19th
I
today?
know it's coming up.
yeah, I'd
What
say
is
by the
what is Monday?
21st, yeah, or 22nd. Like if somebody could let you know over the weekend, right?
Yeah, I
Essentially.
mean, if you can let me know before end of day on Monday, which is the 23rd, it's not going to take me that long. But what I'm hearing tonight is Jenny's a yes, Hilda's a yes, so I can sign you up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get you signed up and email you the information. And then if anyone else decides between now and Monday they want to try to do it, just let me know and I'll sign you up.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
They stood out to me. I was like, oh, that looks like fun.
yeah, yeah, very similar. I know. There are just some people that look at a conference list and go, ooh, right? I get it. Okay.
Okay. Moving on, our second order of new business. Volunteers are needed to help with the Proposition 2.5 coverage, March 31st. Is it just for the 31st, Tina?
Well, that's when
Or
the vote
up?
is.
Right, but do you need volunteers before that?
Honestly, Emmanuel put this on the agenda. I don't know. I know him. He
Okay.
and Leah are working together. I know today they did a roundtable discussion with some people in our studio. I'm assuming they're looking to do something very similar to election coverage on March 31st. So much like what Adam and Felicia did, like the man on the street interviews and stuff like that. So I think he needs to speak to that more. That's all I know.
It's a Tuesday if anyone's looking at a calendar, if that's helpful. Okay.
Okay, well, if anybody is available, get in touch with Emmanuel and we'll figure out how we can place you on the 31st. I'm not going to be here on the 31st, so I'm not going to be available for that. So that was new business. Was there anything else? There's nothing else. Okay. Um, Anything else anybody needs to discuss before we make any kind of motion?
I just wanted to clarify the second work session is going to be March 12th at 6 p.m. and we're going to do it virtually. We're not going to do it at UMA. Okay. Because I
Yes,
sent out an email to the staff right away. So
yes.
Is
March
the
12th, 6
next
p.m.
meeting, so our next meeting is March, it's the same date, the 19th, right? Because February's 28 days like that. Will it be in person? Do we know? Okay.
we were going to do it in person tonight, but we realized it was school break week. So we figured, well, some people might be traveling or something like that. So yeah. But now next month will be in person.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just want to make sure because in person often works.
And it'll be there at UMA, right? On the
Yeah.
19th?
On the 19th at 7 p.m. in person at UMA in the studio.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wouldn't the meeting with staff and board be easier in person?
I think depends on what you all want to do.
Yeah, I don't have any opinion on that either way. I don't know if it's necessary, totally necessary. It was helpful when we were there and we could break off into groups and stuff, but I don't know if we need to break off into groups in this work session or not.
Yeah, this one's about, I'll be honest, I don't even know if the staff needs to be there in all retrospect because we're talking about committee structure and areas of ownership, what's board led, staff led, which we've already talked about in that first one, and
Yep.
share. So, I mean, yeah, maybe for some of it, staff would be, yeah, no, I guess, yes, we would. But if we're going to be talking about roles and expectations and what's board led and staff led, I sometimes feel like that's better in person, but that's just my style.
How
I
does
like in
every,
person in general.
yeah?
Just a preference, my Gen X self. Sorry.
I'm the same way, Ida.
I mean, it is nice when you can share your screen and all of that, and it is, but I don't know. I do like the just being in the same room with people.
I
Tina,
know
what do
that
you
when
think?
I'm in the same room, I don't accidentally hit my mute button, so that's helpful.
Tina, what do you think for staff?
They'll do whatever I ask them to. I guess, like,
Yeah, what's
I think
easier?
I mean, they're all there usually on Thursdays anyways. So yeah.
Well, the good thing is that if you don't need them to be there the entire time, maybe we can do staff related stuff first, then they can go home and then we can finish our
Yeah.
business.
My only thing, Jenny, is you'll have to check your schedule if you can be there in person at 6 p.m.
I mean, if anything, as long as I know in advance, I can work things out with my schedule,
Hmm.
hopefully.
So now are we moving to in person with the,
Let's shoot for in-person on March 12th at 6 PM at UMA. And you can talk with the staff as far as how you guys want to deal with that, but yeah.
I think it's enough notice. I think everybody will be fine. I know, yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Okay, great.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. That is a plan. Anything else before we have a motion? And would anyone like to entertain a motion here at this
I'll make
point?
a motion to adjourn if that's helpful.
That is
Motion to
helpful.
adjourn by Eden
I'll second it.
and Jennifer seconds. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
See you.
Have a good night.
Next see you on the 12th at 6 o'clock at UMA. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Bye.